Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Hunty's World of Pain on tour. Man, 2 World of Pain videos in one day, but I couldn't pass this one up. So I've been doing really well in Blitz. Got like 1570 something now in Blitz. I'm even ahead of my Rapid rating. So I thought I'd play a couple of Rapid games, and I'm kicking ass in Rapid as well. So hold on to your hats. We are going back to revisit, to my shame and embarrassment and slightly dirty, guilty feelings, this absolute beast of a response to the French. Now, I'm sure it doesn't work at higher levels, but my God, it works around this level. The Diemer-Duhm gambit. Oh my lord. So this is a 10-minute rapid, okay? Opponents rated just under 1500. We have the French defense. We play d4, we have d5, and now c4. And it just goes to plan. They take, you push, they take, you take. And if you haven't seen my previous videos on this, a brief refresher, the whole point here is that we're preventing the knight from coming to c6, right? Why? Well, first of all, they're going to try and take out your pawn, okay? You're going to defend. At some point, they're going to throw in this move. All right, I can show you in the Explorer after the game, if you're really interested, just how many different ways there are for black to make the same blunder, okay? But let's stick with this game for time being, because it's an absolute beauty and a beast. Okay, so we have knight f6. So we have 2 attackers on the pawn, yes? We're agreed. 2 attackers on the pawn, only 1 defender. Knight c3, okay? And now what do? They always do this, and they lose a piece. They simply lose a piece. It's a blunder. Why? Well, under normal circumstances, you can defend the bishop and block the check. This is obviously a fork, right? With knight to c6. But the whole point is you can't. As long as I've got a pawn on this square, it doesn't work. So they go there. You can't pre-move anything, right? Because if I was to pre-move captures here, I'd just lose the game. So you take there. He takes there. This is very common. This is like, I've just lost a piece, therefore I'm going to start trading in anger. But that's not very clever. And nor's that, really, to be honest. It just, we're going to force the king to move eventually. Anyway, so bishop comes here. I've got a couple of squares I can go to that are okay. So I decide to drop back to c5. He comes in with check. No, it's not check at all. Sorry. Yeah, so here I'm already planning this idea, okay, to force more material off the board. Just pin the bishop. He does this, threatening actually checkmate. My apologies. The excitement got the better of me. But it still doesn't work, because I still have this. And instead of being a pin with the bishop here, it's now just a bishop fork. So forcing the bishop off the board, we trade off. He's in check. King moves forward. Not the smartest move, right? And now, this poor king. Now, opponent, to his credit, finds some really good moves. He does. But bishop a3 check now. Right, I'm covering all of these. The blocking with the queen just doesn't make any sense. So what's going to happen? The king's going to be forced out into the board. Right? Now I play knight to e2. I'm thinking of getting castled, but I've also got ideas of either of these moves with check, right? And in fact, in this position, knight f4 would be checkmate, because the queen's covering all these, the bishop's covering all these, the queen's covering that. He has to stop checkmate. Okay, so the move that he plays is knight d5, blocking the queen's view of the 5th rank. So in comes the knight anyway with check, and constantly I'm colouring in here constantly, calculating where his king can go. King goes to f6. Queen now comes in to check again. King comes back here. Now I decide to castle, because I've got fantasies of having a rook on e1, maybe even bring the knight back with check. Pawn is pinned and can't take, yeah? Something like this. He now takes on c3, and can you find the final move of the game? Actually, it's not the best move of the game. In fact, it's not even in the engine's top 3. But it's the final move of the game. It doesn't matter. So apparently pawn to f4. So well done if you found that. That's the engine's number 1. That leads to mate in 7. Okay, well done if you figured that out. Queen c5 is a forced mate in 17 moves. Huh, right? The move I played was bishop to b2. And so here what's interesting is we've got double attack on the knight, right? Got 2 pieces attacking the knight. But I'm thinking after this, if queen takes, okay, I do this. If king takes, I do this or this, or this, or this, and win the queen. Do you know what I mean? If knight gives check here, I just capture the knight and crack on. So he simply resigns. His best move here is apparently queen d6, and then I just take the knight outright. Right? So he's absolutely dead lost. The king is out in the middle of the board. The rooks haven't even woken up and been invited to play. So what an absolute world of pain classic drubbing, I have to say. Very proud of that one. Let's have a quick look at the thingy. 87.5 from me with one mistake. The one mistake was the pawn push in the middle. So we can discount that because I'm playing in the meatverse. I'm playing humans, not the metaverse, right? Scrolling down, so 1450 for my opponent. So, you know, he did find some good moves, but he did blunder the bishop. But like I say, it's so common. 1900 for me. Yes, very exciting time. Okay, let's have a quick look at the Explorer. I'm just going to share with you why this is really my guilty pleasure, this opening. So the chess.com Explorer, my games, after the French. Okay, so d4 I've played the most and got good results. I mean, d3 I think was like the King's Indian attack, where you try these things, even queen here, knight across it, some weird stuff that I tried a few times. It was doing all right. But I've gone back to d4. This is all very normal. And now d5. And we'll see, there's lots of different responses that you can make. So e5, the advanced variation, I haven't done very well. Right, 40% win rate, okay? E takes d5, the exchange variation, 48-48. So it's known for being drawish. We haven't had a lot of draws. 2% of draws. I've played knight c3. I've played knight d2. I've played f3. I've played a few things, but c4, I've got a 60% win rate against 34% losers from this, okay? And we'll just see what they do. D takes e4 is played more than half the time, okay? So they resolve the tension in the middle by taking the middle. I push this, I'm now winning 63%. Okay, so most common move by a mile is takes. Okay, and we'll see that. We'll see that after takes. They're thinking pressure on here. 32 games out of about 40, they bring their knight out, right? I always bring my knight out. Now I'm winning almost 3/4 of the games. Okay, and the most popular move, what is this? 8, 9, 10, 37 games, 39 games, 30 times they have done this. Yeah? And I play queen a4 check. I'm now winning 77% of the games. I don't know how I've lost the rest, to be honest. Best move apparently so far for black has been knight c6. He's managed to win 3 out of 5 that way, but that just gives up the knight. But it's just horrid. It's horrid. It's torrid. I'm not going to stop doing it. If you're not doing it right now at the beginner or intermediate level, why not? It's absolute filth. Get yourself some of that. All right. Thank you for joining me on Hunty's World of Pain. See you soon.